What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the By the Hood podcast or webcast because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host, as always. My name is Jimmy, and as we start off every show, that's with gratitude. I want to say thank you to all of our supporters. Anybody who's supported anything we got going on from our merch. Specifically, a shout out to all the students at By the Hood University. That is growing like crazy. A lot of folks came aboard because of our intro to precious metals course. So I want to send a special shout out to all of you. I got my partner in crime, Corey, with me as always. Corey, what's up, good brother?
Man, I'm living La Vida Loca. Every day above ground is a good day. No complaints, man.
Yeah. Listen, and our platform is dedicated to highlighting brothers and sisters who are out there doing amazing work, building in their communities, and just like creating fabulous businesses. And we have a very special guest. But before I even introduce her, I want to play this clip. We posted a clip of her on our Instagram page, and our Instagram page went crazy. Folks was in my inbox cussing me out, like, get her on the show. And we do have her on the show, but I want to play this clip real fast before we actually introduce her.
When my great-grandfather passed away, I was just thinking about this morning. He passed away maybe 2001. He left my family in total probably close to about $500,000. My grandfather, his son, received about $200,000. And then the rest was kind of divided up against other family members. Each grandchild got one. And so he was really specific in his will about who got what. And so looking back, like at 31, at the time I was, much younger. Looking back at 31, I appreciate the specificness and how he left legacy behind. He had several businesses. He was an engineer. But then I thought about my grandfather who just passed a few months ago, so his son. And he passed away in a trailer that he didn't even own. And I think about legacy, and I ask myself, how do we get from millionaires, in the early 2000s, with my grandfather's legacy, kind of paving the way, right, for entrepreneurship and wealth, to a trailer on a countryside in Illinois. And so I think about legacy, but then I started to challenge my own thinking, and this is what I want to share with you guys today. I think about education. So my grandfather wasn't a dumb man at all, had several businesses, but wealth, how you acquire and keep wealth has to be taught. That is not something that is innately in you. You have to teach that. And so for my parents that are going into investing, whether it's stocks, whether it's real estate, and you're going into investing and you're starting to rehab homes and you're starting to work on homes and you have all these plans, I challenge you to keep your children by your side and let them know you're wise. I challenge you to include them in money conversations and business conversations, and I challenge you to tell them when it's good and when it's bad and your why you're doing it and how you're doing it and what you're trying, even if it fails. And so my grandfather was I don't want to use the word secretive, my great-grandfather, excuse me, but a very peculiar man. He didn't teach my grandfather wealth building skills. He just gave him money when he passed. And I'm sure a lot before. And so legacy means nothing if it's not coupled with education, because the next generation has to be ready to hold the baton and to take us into and to really grow it, and to really grow with the baton and grow what you handed off. And so to parents, aunties, uncles, you're starting a business, keep your child right there. Keep them right there. Keep them right there and begin to share with them your why, your how, have money conversations with them. Couple that legacy you're trying to create with education. Peace, y'all.
Out of St. Louis, we have, well, she calls herself Real Estate Bay, but we have Gabby Williams, Real Estate Gabs joining us. Or do you like Real Estate Bay? Which one is it?
So the brand is Real Estate Bay, but somebody does own that handle. So until they drop it or sell it to me, it's Real Estate Gabs. Got you.
So Gab, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we can't complain. Listen, that post went crazy. I told you, I inboxed you like, listen, I got to get you on now because folks is going to cuss me out because, that story you told touched a lot of folks. And, you're very transparent on your page. So first of all, before we even get started, I want to say I appreciate you for being that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I try to keep, I put in the real in real estate.
I I heard that. Yeah, because there's a lot of fake out here. But listen, let's talk about your background. Tell us where you're from. What was your upbringing, school like? What was that like?
Sure. So I'm originally from Chicago, which is what the story was about, was the inner city of Chicago, South Side, Bronzeville location or area. I was there until about middle school, and then we moved to Southern Illinois, where we finished out middle school and high school. After high school, I went to college at SIUC, and then I finished at Lindenwood here in St. Louis. I moved from Carbondale to St. Louis because I wanted a faster paced city, and it's extremely cheap to live comfortably here in St. Louis. That was 10 years ago. I wasn't supposed to be here that long, but I'm still here. But I really feel like I have a huge purpose in the St. Louis culture, but also politically. So,
okay, that's dope. That's dope. So, was real estate something that you always wanted to get into, or how'd you get into real estate exactly?
Yeah, so I tell the story to make it in short. November 2019, I was in the hospital with my son, who was declared dead at birth, and he was revived. So he's still with us today, praise God. Nice. But I was in the hospital with my son, and my CEO called me. I was in corporate America. She called me and said, "We no longer need your services." She knew I was in the hospital with my son. She knew that. She knew that I needed the insurance. And she knew that I was on maternity leave at the time. And so I said, "Are you firing me right now?" Because she kind of beat around the bush. You know how they do. Well, we kind of don't really. She said, "Well, we don't need you." She just kept saying that. And so I lawyered up and so forth. But eventually she still let me go. And I knew that because of my son's brain injury, I was never going to go back to corporate America. I had a disgusting, feeling in my stomach from that experience. And let me add this, and this is a part I haven't told anybody. I chose to work for that company because she was a Black woman. It was a Black woman CEO. Mm-hmm. I left a job making $80,000 a year, and I came to work for her for $44,000. And so I took a huge pay cut and a risk because I was tired. I thought that my plight was with Western culture, mm-hmm. But ultimately my plight was just with structure and 9-to-5 culture in general. So I took this huge leap and went to go work for her, and she laid me off in a hospital bed. So I knew I had to do something different, and I tried a couple of things that didn't work, didn't stick, and started researching, and real estate just kept coming up as the number one industry that yields the most millionaires. And I said, okay, let me jump in.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. That's a crazy story right there, to call you while you were in the hospital bed. That's foul.
That is a foul.
Yeah.
Why in the world? So the question I'm gonna ask is, what prompted? Did they give you a reason, or that's all they were saying was, we no longer need your services? They didn't give you no reasoning.
So it was a nonprofit corporate culture, and so the reasoning was that I know today. She wasn't going to ever say this, but we lost a lot of funding, and so certain jobs had to be cut, and so it wasn't necessarily a personal thing. So we worked with a lot of children, and I'll add this to add in a layer. We probably had about 800 kids in our program, right? Yet the CEO didn't have any children, never been married, never had any kids. And so when you work with kids and you work with people who work with kids, there's this sense of empathy and love that you just really have when you have children. She didn't have any. And so that adds a layer to me, because the pain and agony that she should have been feeling for me, she couldn't tap into as a woman that never gave birth. You know what I mean? And so I know some people still are passionate about other people when they haven't gave birth, but I just want to add in a layer of a 55-year-old Black woman that's never gave birth, never been married, and then a woman who's laying in the bed with, a dying child. And so she really couldn't be empathetic. So it didn't really matter to her whether it was the reason was a lack of funding or, it just didn't matter. She couldn't connect with me. And so even on a human level, so the practical side was we were losing funding. But on a human level, I should have been the last person that they got a call to be laid off. And she couldn't get past, her own shortcomings. So I was the first person to get laid off.
Man, that's just tough. That's a crazy story. Thank you for sharing that. But
he's talking about his destiny.
Yeah,
right.
Listen, everything happens for a reason. That's why you're out here now doing your thing. But and speaking of that, you're an agent now as well as a real estate investor.
Yes.
Which part do you like best? I like to ask people because we get a lot of people who are agents and investors out here who do well in both. But which one do you like best?
By far, investing.
Okay.
By far. Yeah, I love investing. I actually was reluctant to get my agent to get my license because I knew that I would have loyalty to a brokerage, and I knew I would have loyalty to the system of the state. And I really just want to be a free bird. So investing really, there's no entry. I mean, anybody can really jump into this. And so as an agent, there's a bunch of red tape before we can like get include a client. So investing by far is, I love it.
Okay, got you. That makes sense. And that's generally the answer that a lot of people give.
Right.
You know, outside of when you help like another family, especially like another Black family, like buy a home, that's like a powerful feeling as well. But you know, investing is that control. And I see just from a couple questions we've asked thus far that you know you like I don't mess with the system.
Oh yeah, I hope I can keep it real.
This structure, I'm cool on that. Like I want to do my own thing. That's amazing. So now that you're out here trying to invest, like, do you have a specific type of property looking to invest in? Is it just like residential? Is it single family, multifamily? What are you looking to do?
You know, I love that question because it allows me to say this answer over and over again. I don't care what it looks like, where it is, who has it, who owns it before me. I just want it to cash flow. And so too many times my coaching clients and people come and they say, well, I want a multifamily. And they get stuck in this web of trying to find a multifamily. And literally I had a client yesterday who's been looking for a multifamily for a year. And she could have bought she has $60,000 cash in the bank, right? You know, and with a 700 credit score. It's just no reason. I'm not the right coach for you because I tell people to buy cash flowing properties no matter where or how. And I say no matter where too, because I'm on by the hood. And oftentimes we don't want to buy the hood. And so to believe it or not, the hood cash flows, boo. You know,
that's what the biggest cash flows are.
Good because I can buy a property for $4,000 and put 17 in it, and I'm going to cash flow $1,000. And so, versus where I, way out in the suburbs, you're going to have to come off of $500,000, in loans and so forth. So, I buy cash flowing properties. I do not care where or how they look.
Great. That's good stuff right there, right? Because you're buying future income. What you're doing is you're taking your money and you're buying future income.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. So let me ask you this question, right? So, you told the story about where you grew up, what you went through to get to this point. Is that the biggest hurdle that you've had throughout this journey, or what would you consider your biggest hurdle to take you, from where you were growing up in Chicago to where you are now, where you have you're coaching other folks, you're buying your own investments, and what has your biggest hurdle been?
Like throughout my life?
Yes, throughout to get you to where you are right now.
To get me to where I am right now. I would probably stick with the story that I had. I would probably stick with that, and I'll add in my son's brain injury. So the doctor said he wasn't going to make it through the night. The doctor said he would never chew food. He would never eat. And all of these things are coming to, he's doing all of these things. He stands on his own. He's eating. He smiled. They said he would never smile. And so to have to give birth to a Black boy in this system, first of all, I take back everything that they said and I affirm his life daily, right? And so to have to really sit with the idea, these are white doctors that are pouring into his life, I started to have to create systems of care and sacredness around him. So doctors cannot talk to me with my son present. They can't do it. They know that now because we were in the system and we go there, a couple times a month. You have to talk to me about where he is outside the room because you are negative. You don't say affirming things, and I don't want that to be on my son's spirit. So really the toughest thing is really managing, really my son's health and in tandem with trying to be a business owner and being a wife and everything. And so my son's health definitely pivoted me. It's blessed me, but it's also been, one of the biggest hurdles for sure.
Yeah. How old is your son now? One?
He is a year and a half.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's amazing, man. That's dope. That's dope.
I listen. I work with special needs people of all ages, children all the way to I don't work with people that's 65 years old. That's in the adults with autism and on the spectrum, and special needs. And so when you say the life affirming thing, that resonates with me because the thing is, people always is telling them what they can't do.
That's right.
And so my whole thing is, show me what you can do so we can do a lot of that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So that's always the place where I come from. You know, after I had listened to everybody tell me what they can't do on this side, then when I talk to whatever client it is, I just say, tell me what you can do, and let's work from that spot right there until we can do some of the things that other people want you to do.
Yep.
And so I get it 100%.
Yeah, that's a powerful story right there. So that motivates you on a daily basis.
Daily. Yep.
Yeah,
I can't quit. And I tell people all the time, like, to find, I'm really big, if you follow my page, to find your why. And I even tell people, so I get clients that call me and they're not ready, right? So you laughing on the phone and playing, you got $17,000 in the bank and, you know, a 740 credit score with a full-time job. And I'm like, how have you not purchased anything? And so I say back to that, like, you're too comfortable. One, two, I used to be like you. I was comfortable at my job, but I just would hate for God to make you so uncomfortable you have to lean into your gifts. I would hate for him to start to strip away all of those things that where you come home and you're okay. And then you say, I gotta grind, I gotta hustle. Because eventually in disobedience, he will do that. You'll start to see them gifts have to expose themselves because you're not being obedient. And I knew I should have been in entrepreneurship much sooner, guys. I knew I should have been hustling a lot harder and grinding, and I wasn't. I was comfortable and complacent. And then when all of that was removed from me and all I had was my gifts, I had to find a way to leverage them to monetize them. So
yeah, that's amazing. And one thing I will say is, like, you're one of the best followers on Instagram because you're so transparent and you're always pouring into people. What made you decide to use that platform and to start to do that, right? So you could like see a shift in your page, but you just now you're pouring into people on a daily basis. What made you decide to like really double down and go there?
You know what? I started posting videos. I was reluctant to post videos because social media gurus or people will tell you that people will only pay attention for 60 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, the max is 60 seconds. Well, I like to talk. I believe the more that we talk and communicate, the more we share and we grow together. And so I would be filming videos, guys, and they would be 3 minutes long and 4 minutes long. And I would be deleting them for months and months because I was like, they're too long. They're too long. Eventually, I just started dropping them. I was like, I'm over it. I don't care anymore. I was trying to fit this system that told me this is how you win on Instagram and this is how people consume knowledge. When I started being myself and just dropping a 4-minute video, which isn't that long, or a 5-minute video, or going live for an hour, my following just tripled and quadrupled because, and it's still not that much, but the response and how active and engaged my followers are is blowing me away, and how much they're screenshotting my stuff, or they'll send me a picture of an affirmation that I said 6 months ago, and it's on their their window in their bathroom and so forth. And so I just stopped trying to fit this mode of this is how Instagram works and trying to make everything so pretty and just be myself.
Yeah,
that's
it comes through. No, it comes through. You can see authenticity, and that comes through, right? So we have conversations a lot with a lot of entrepreneurs and investors, and it's funny because Corey and I were having a conversation last night with a gentleman who's making a nice amount of money in real estate, but he's not into the flash, right? That's just not his thing. And so one of the questions was like, do you think my page could ever grow without me doing? And I was like, you have to be you. You can't do that because you think that's what people want to see. You have to be authentically you. So if that's not you, you have to be who you are, because authenticity comes through. And like I said, I see it on your page now. You're one of my favorite follows because like you're so real, you're down to earth, and you tell your story. Yeah. And that's what resonated with people with specifically with that video, right? When you're talking about like you're telling your family history, and a lot of us relate to that.
Yeah, I was blown. I did an interview yesterday, and I'm getting a lot of calls for interviews. I'm honestly just blown away because even my family said, was it that deep? Like, I was like, that's what I was thinking, because we talk like that often and we always like Sankofa, right? So it's our duty to reflect on the past so that we can learn from it. That's literally it's a duty of mine. And so I try to reflect and be in reflection often. And I just got on and shared it and dropped it. And then I went back to my page like, what is happening? Because I dropped so often and I really didn't think anything of it. I had to go back and listen. Like, did I really say something deep? And I think that, I'm just keeping it 1,000. I think that the idea of losing something, but being able to reflect on it and humility was really resonating with people. It's still going viral. I've lost count how many times it's been shared and how many black guys, but it's cool to see.
I know on our page alone is over 50,000 people have seen it thus far. Like it's crazy. But like, because when I first saw it on your page, I said, man, that's why I asked you. I said, you mind if I share this? Because I thought it was powerful. Like, because I understand why that would resonate with someone. That's what I mean about the transparency, because what you're going to do is you're going to help someone. Even this conversation right now, when people get to see you and learn about your personality, you're going to help someone. You'd be surprised at the amount of folks you help. And you said, well, it's not that big. Listen, you serve your audience. It doesn't matter if you had 2 people there. You serve them. If you serve them well, you'll help folks. So this was about, it's about helping folks. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So let me ask you this. Along this journey, what has been your favorite book or book that has inspired you?
Yeah. I'm going to say something unconventional. We always say Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm gonna say Asada by Asada Shakur.
Oh, that's my thing.
That's my favorite book of all time. And my perspective and what I got the most from her story was the tenacity of the Black man to save and protect the Black woman. That is a love story beyond any love story I've ever seen on Disney. You gonna get me out of prison? You gonna put on a prison guard's uniform and then get me out of prison multiple times and get me to freedom? You're gonna die along the way? There's nothing more beautiful. And I think that too many times we don't share or we don't know stories of Black love outside of, the bedroom. These are just men that were loyal to the cause and loyal to a Black woman. And I have men around me, guys, that will come. I can call right now and they'll be like, where you want me to be, where you need me to go. Come to a property with the drop of a dime. Tell me to buy it. Tell me not to buy it. Tell me not to work with that contractor. I really have men, much like Asada, who are devoted to my growth and protecting me. They show up with their guns in their back, like where we finna be, like literally. And I'm just so blessed. And so when you ask me a book that has changed my life, it allowed me to appreciate those men and brothers that I have that protect me beyond measure. And so Asada Shakur is definitely what I'm going to recommend to the folks. It's untraditional, but it's a love story nonetheless.
I'm glad you said. I love when someone comes to something unconditional, and that is one of my favorite books of all time as well. She's amazing. Like that story is just like, and it's funny you say that. You're the first person to ever say this is a love story, like, because it is. When you think about it, it really is. Like
I never thought about it like that, but it definitely is.
Everybody says this is revolutionary, but I'm like, it's actually a love story. You got me thinking about it differently.
Yeah, like you put it in the whole proper.
The police.
Yeah, because it is revolutionary. Let's not get it twisted. It is revolutionary, but it's a love story at the end of the day.
Yep.
About brothers and sisters loving one another.
Brothers and sisters, outside of sex and all of that. This is just us loving each other.
Sure, unconditional love. Like, we got to get you out of here.
Yeah, because one of the things is when we talk about Black wealth, that is Black wealth. Black love is Black wealth. Right,
that's the fountain. That's the fountain of wealth.
Right, exactly. And I know I sound repetitive because I'm on every platform always saying this, but I do it for a reason, because it's not just about dollars and cents. I think that the dollars and cents actually will come more to us if we decided that we loved each other. A lot of the violence we see in our communities, a lot of the things that happen is because of a lack of Black love. But we're working on that. That's one of the reasons we got this platform to talk to folks like you. Because that's what we do. We only talk to people that look like us because there are so many of us doing positive work, just like you are, pouring into people and helping to build them up. So I definitely want to make sure we give you your flowers. You know what I mean? While we got you on here, and say continue to do what you do, because I think it's just awesome. And if anybody watching, make sure that you follow her page, because she's always giving out game, giving out gems, about business, about real estate. And just like me, she hates contractors, right? So let me ask you this though. In this journey of getting into real estate, what would you say is the most difficult part about the real estate game specifically? Would it be the contractors? Would it be the financing? Would it be like, what is the most difficult part, you would say?
Funding is always going to be an issue, but I want to make sure I highlight something that a lot of people don't know when they buy the hood, specifically in St. Louis. And so we want to buy the hood, and I'm excited and I'm happy. The things that you will run to in my market is that contractors, vendors, cleaners, hauling people are not going to want to come to the hood. And so that's very Black folk. Black contractors, Black vendors, Black cleaning folk are not going to want to come to the hood. And so my plight has been educating, on top of I'm doing rehabs and so forth, but educating. Literally yesterday, a lady hung up on us when she got the address to a property that he was cleaning for us. She said, "Oh no, I'm not going over there." And so, Black lady, Black business. And so that is so hard because it's disheartening to me because I know that these same people dog out the hood. I know that these same people also dog out white folk who buy the hood. And so to not want to be able to lend your services and be paid in full for a service that you have in the hood is very disheartening to me. And it's been very hard spiritually because it makes me, sometimes I second guess myself like, damn, is this really that bad? I'll sit on the porch and be outside. And so I really don't understand how we love the hood, but we don't want to buy it, but we don't want to do business in it. I was buying a refrigerator for a unit and I told the guy the address, via text and he called me and he said, "You said, where is it?" And I said where it was, and he said, "Oh, I can't come there." A grown man in the middle of the day, right? Wow. And so that is a huge life for me here in St. Louis. It's blowing my mind, to be honest. And we had another lady yesterday, like I said, but it's blowing my mind. And so when you ask about some of the hardest things as far as in real estate, funding is always going to be a thing, and finding a property. But I really want people to know when you buy the hood, be prepared to educate those who haven't bought it yet, why you bought it, why it's safe, why it's okay. And there's a whole nother spiritual process that I'm going through, educating my own people about streets that they grandparents and stuff live on. Like, these your people, boo. I'm not from here. These are your folks. So it's been hard. That's been hard for sure.
That's interesting. That's interesting because when we first started our community organization, which started as a community organization, which is By the Hood, which has blossomed into a podcast. It was originally about just like real estate and personal finance, but we recognize that when we say hood, when we say buy the hood, what we actually are talking about is love, is buying into each other. So when we say buy the hood, we have to buy into each other, because you see that in a lot of places, like they won't service it. But also, to me, that also says there's an opportunity, right? Even when I dog contractors, one of the things I tell people, come on my page and they say, "Hey, you always dog on contract." I said, because that means it's an opportunity. If you do good business and you're a man or woman of your word, you can make a lot of money because it's a lot of trash contractors, right? And the same thing for someone servicing as a cleaner or whatever that may be. Like, it's an opportunity because you have folks out here, and that's the part that's troubling. Is on the one hand, you don't want to help someone, but then you also want to dog out, the other folks that come in and buy your neighborhood. You can't have it both ways. Like, gentrify yourself is what I say, man. Corey, like, you're going to say something good, brother.
No, I was just saying, like, those people are weirdos to me, right? Because I'm just gonna keep it 1,000, because my thing is, you going to diss people that look like you, that's coming in there to rehab your neighborhood, right? The reason why you don't go there is because it's dilapidated. Then somebody says, "All right, I'm gonna come fix it," and then you don't want to come help them, and not just come help them for free, but come help them fully paid. Like, that's weirdo. That's weirdo stuff to me. And like, I feel like I'm good in every hood, and then the people in that hood will tell me if I'm not good.
Same.
You know what I mean? Like, they will. Like, I've been, like, listen, I was in Cali the first time I went to Cali, and I wasn't even in no crazy rough neighborhood. I was in San Jose, had on a Phillies hat. Phillies hats are red with a white drum, and I got rolled up on by dudes that was in gangbanging. They was asking me where I'm from. I'm like, yo, I'm from actual Philly. You know what I mean? Like, please don't kill me over no crazy hat. You know what I mean? But I found out, even though I'm good in the hood, my hat wasn't. I'm like, yo, man, you can tap dance on this hat if you want it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm a visitor here. And, I had to wear a yellow jacket the whole time I was there. I had all this Phillies gear. I had to go buy a yellow jacket because that's the new color. In San Jose, I didn't know.
But you know what, though? It's like, sometimes it could be danger, but if you know how to carry yourself, you'll be fine, right? You'll be fine. But it's also a situation with a lot of folks, and this goes into a whole deeper conversation. I'm not trying to like turn this into something else, but when you don't control your media and you don't control your image, it becomes problematic, right? And I have people buy into all sorts of stereotypes and things like that, and they expect certain things when they come, and then when they don't see that, oh, this isn't that bad. I mean, yeah. So it's like it's just but that's what happens when you don't control your image, you don't control your media, you don't control the narrative. So, but again, this is why we're having conversations like this, and we're building together. You know what I mean? So listen, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for your time, because this has been an amazing talk. I'm looking forward to see all the amazing things you do in the future, because you're out here pouring into our people, and that's why I said you're one of our favorite files. It's not just about the real estate business, but it's about what you do for our folks, because we're community first, and business second. So I just want to say thank you for that, man. Corey, you got any things you want to say before we got here, brother?
I enjoy people that's boots on the ground. Like, she don't play no games. She put her boots on the ground, 10 toes down, wherever she at. So those people, those kind of people are always gonna be good with me. So,
and Gab, I also want to say I'm getting ready to go reread the Shada now, because now I have a whole different way of looking at it. Because I listen, it's already one of my favorite books, but I never thought about it like from that angle. So I think that's dope too, and I appreciate you sharing that. Yeah. So just want to say again, thank you for your time. For the folks out there, please make sure you go follow everything that she's got going on. Go follow her IG page. Give her some feedback. Let her know what you thought about this episode with her sharing her story. We look forward to building the future, having you back on one day. I say thank you. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys, so much.
Listen, and donate to her so she can buy her name, so she can stop being real estate dead.
She's using it. But actually, somebody, how they have a page like locked, but they only have like 3 or 4 followers, and so it's like a dead account. And I don't know how to, reach out to them. So it's really
if anybody out there knows how to reach out to somebody with a dead account, because we want to get a real estate babe. That's her brand. We want to make sure she gets that. So if you got to get a dead account, reach out to us and reach out to her. Let her know how to get that done, man. Yeah. So listen, for the folks out there, like I said, make sure you follow what she's got going on. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate you guys building with us. And as we always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we shall see y'all folks on the next episode. Peace.